This podcast is sponsored by Utocop. For more details, please click on the link that is in the description below. Welcome to episode 9 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. Today we have another guest in the house. I hope you watched episode 8 by now. Shilpa was pretty awesome. In fact, while we shoot this, I think this evening that episode goes out and I hope you'll have enjoyed that. But today we have another gentleman in the studio. Say hi to MC Shabbeer.
Oh, hi, Adarsh. You know what? I want to tell you that I'm feeling pretty complex right now.
Okay.
Because you have hair, you also have a beard. Like, it's so overwhelming. I'm sitting out here, no beard, no hair. For the first time in my life, I feel naked, actually. Talk about complex. Yeah.
I think that's what we want. We want you to be naked on the show. Not literally, but with his thoughts at least.
Thank you so much. I was like about to bolt. Like, dude, the show not for me.
But awesome, man. First of all, thank you for being here.
Welcome.
So before we start off this episode, I want to give a context to you guys in terms of why Shabbeer is invited here and why he's here to speak, right? So me, as I grew up as an MC, I've spent about 4 years in the industry now. There were always a few names that were thrown out in discussions, right, amongst upcoming MCs, and Shabbeer was always that brand that people spoke about, even on the WhatsApp group. Like on the MC WhatsApp group for Bangalore, there's always Shabbeer involved in some or the other topic. I said, okay, I always knew that back of my mind. And then 2-3 times and I ran across you. I saw your shows at resorts when I was also doing my own activities. Right, so I said, oh man, this is nice. Like, I said, okay, this is some person I want to speak to someday. Now coming to the podcast, I wanted someone to kind of, come in and give a glimpse into what goes on behind an MC's life. Like, how did that thought process even start and what does that make a person? And of course, we'll get into your personal story as well. So that's the context. If you know Shabbeer, amazing, sit back, enjoy it. If you don't know Shabbeer, I can promise you there's a lot of sides to him that even I'm going to get to know today itself. So let's begin, Shabbeer.
This is scary, actually.
So Shabbeer, I want to know, man, like going back to day one, what made you start off into this industry and how did you start off?
I'm from the 90s, which indirectly means I'm old. Okay, so what happened was I'm from Chennai and I was, at that time there was nothing great. There was DD or whatever during my school time. Mm-hmm. I used to go to the American consulate in Chennai. This is American library. And sometimes they used to, film these incredible movies. And I saw this movie called Good Morning Vietnam. Fantastic movie. Mm-hmm. And I saw Robbie Williams out there as an RJ. And I always wanted to be an RJ. Right? Okay. So I went to the All India Radio during my school days. And I was invited to participate in a competition called Masters of English Dictionary.
Okay.
Right? So I went out there and there were a lot of people, some of them from IIT, some of them from Loyola and all that. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, I strictly believe it's because I got some easy stuff. I managed to win them. I managed to win the competition out there. So All India Radio said, why don't you come and conduct a few interviews? Amazing. So I started very early. I started while I was in school. There plenty of learning in my school. I realized what makes me happy. I think it all starts a little early when you start discovering who 100%. You are,
also,
what you're made of.
Some people also are helping you recognize that.
Absolutely, yeah. Like my teachers, like my friends, they always wanted to see me on stage. I mean, it was a crazy time. My school days were crazy. I had this fan following of all the boys. Not a single girl.
I hope that has changed now.
No. Pretty much remains the same. Pretty much the same. I mean, one thing you can't put your finger for me or fault me on is consistency. Okay? the following has remained very consistent. Okay. Very disappointingly so. Mm-hmm. This is one area that I did not want to be consistent on, mark my words. So I realized something very amazing. Whenever they used to invite me, why they used to love me was because they realized that I was a showman, right?
Okay. Okay.
So what I would do during these debates, I used to love, if you call me for an elocution competition, I used to love it, you know. So what used to happen is, they used to give something like rasna or something, right? So when you go to school, elocution competition, they used to give Mary biscuit or whatever, right? So when my name was called out, they said, next speaker Shabbeer, I would stand up in front of everybody and I would coolly drink it. Right, whatever juice. If not, I would carry something with me because I knew I would stand up and drink in front of everybody, keep it down, and then slowly walk, not in a hurry. And then I'll go ruffle the head of the guy who just finished, and I would say, good one, and I would walk on stage, stand out there, smile, and then tell people, I love that biscuit. It was amazing. Thank you. And you had them at hello, and people were like, who is this guy? I've not even started out my elocution. I've not said what it is.
It's not yet started.
It's not started.
And you've already won them.
I'm already won them.
And if you haven't won them, at least you've won the attention.
Attention. Everyone. That's a major problem because, you know, getting attention is a huge issue.
100%.
Right? So when you have them hooked onto you, your words seem more effective. Right? So the first thing you do is people should not be able to ignore you. Right? Because you're a showman. Because anybody can talk English, anybody can talk Hindi. I'll come back and talk about differences in Hindi and English at that time. And I primarily started out my debates and speeches in Hindi, right? And then shifted on to English. I'll tell you the problem with languages and how you talk a little later. But coming back to the showmanship, and that is stuck on. That is stuck on.
So it was the showmanship that it was already there in you. It was a part of your character.
Correct.
But it also gave you a green signal that, okay, maybe this is the type of space I want to be in.
That slowly started magnifying. You know what happened? I had this following of these boys who were my friends.
Okay.
And the minute I would stand up and do all that, they would clap.
They would clap.
And I said hello. They would rush on stage. They would just take me off and say that was enough. That's all he's going to speak. That's the Sakap. So that's all. This is in Chennai. They say podum taleva. They used to say come back. So you know, there were times in which I could not even talk.
Okay.
So it was not exactly my speech or the way I talk or whatever that really mattered. But it's more the showmanship because everybody enjoyed it. And after some time, there were people who were regular on the circuit. They would recognize you, they would see you, they would laugh, and they would say you're going next, or your friends around. So it was a lot of fun.
So the environment had already been set for the brand Shabbeer.
Correct. Right? So you know what?
That's so amazing, man.
Yeah, and my studies took a beating after that. I was pretty good at studies. But I didn't want to study after that.
Okay.
You know, I did my engineering. I came to Bangalore, did my engineering, but that stuck on. You know?
That stuck on.
Yeah. So
you know, to just connect with what you said, right? I had this instance where I think it was first PU, and this teacher of mine, we were done with class. It was I taken up science, and it was a zoology class. We had 15 minutes left, and she didn't know what to do, and she knew if she let us free, we'll make it a ruckus, right? So she suddenly said, Adarsh, can you come up here?
Right.
Of course I'll come up. Like, I love coming up, so I'll come up. Like, choose any topic you want and start, you know, speaking about it. I had no idea why she wanted me to do that. And I went ahead and I spoke about all sorts of things that I liked. And the whole class enjoyed it.
Nice.
But at the end of the class, I asked her, so why did you ask me to do that? He said, no, I know that you have a thing for talking.
Right.
And I had 15 minutes. I thought, okay, let me give you that opportunity to do it.
Correct.
So I think these are the early factors that kind of shape us into who we are.
Correct. You know, honestly, when I hear you talk, you know, these small opportunities, these small instances, you may have a penchant of sort for talking, but you rose up to the occasion.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Okay, so no. I mean, when teacher said, would you like to come and talk? You grab the bull by the horns and you say, I want to talk. There are a lot of people who are like, why madam? No, what is this? You know, that's when you lose out, you know.
Yeah.
So in my book that I'm writing about, the second book, I keep telling, the universe showers you with goodies.
Okay.
Small ways and small forms.
Yeah.
And if you don't acknowledge it, and if you don't respect it, like, the universe will stop showering you with these goodies.
Because you're not taking them at the right time.
You're not taking them. So I'm so happy you did. I'm so happy you did. And here you are, a professional MC.
Exactly.
This is the time where we backslap each other, right? Okay, let's go.
Who else? Who else? Right. But anyway, so that is where you realized it. So amazing on that. Now, how did that transform? Where was the professional step? Where did Shabbeer say, okay, wait, I can make money out of this?
Yeah, I'll come to that a little later, but let me elaborate on what we were speaking earlier.
Okay.
So the early lesson just stood good. So what I do now is I realize very early on, I'll tell you the subtle nuances of MCing a little later, but right now what I realize from my own meandering experience is that before I go on to a show, I do a sound check.
Okay.
And the sound check is my weapon.
Is
sound check is my Rasna Meri biscuit moment, right? Or Mari biscuit, or how you pronounce those biscuits. That's the reason why I shift to Jim Jam. Okay. So basically, what happened was, what I do these days is, I pick up the mic and I do a sound check when the audience are around, right?
Okay.
I say hello, right? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, sound check. And everybody just looks at you. And then I talk something, right? The rain in Spain, or here we come across a Pache Indian Ragamuffin Passe, or something like that, right? And everybody is like, who is this guy? What's happening? And you had them, and they're waiting for you, right? So sound check is so really important. And I realized, because they could have made anybody as an MC, right? Because most people in corporate organizations can speak English. Strange but true. Yeah, they can. But why would they want you? Because they want a showman. They want somebody who can grab their attention. So I think the lesson that I learned early on during my debate just holds true.
Okay.
I carry it on till now, and I'm very religious about going a little early, checking my mic out, understanding my upper mids, my highs, my bass, recognizing my voice, throwing it around a little bit, making yourself a little more familiar. Maybe I'll talk about that maybe a little later. When I decided to make this professional, it's because when I was in my school, I used to do these interviews for the All India Radio, and they used to pay me.
Okay, that's nice.
I thought that was
When
amazing.
was your first, paycheck, if I can say, for talking?
For talking. So what basically happened was, I came to Bangalore, right, to do my engineering. And I did not know what to do. So I walked up to the country club. I mean, the same country club guy, Rajiv Reddy, this man, and always on the poster.
So names being thrown out.
So yeah, excuse me. So at the time there was not much happening. Entertainment was rare, right? People wanted entertainment, and country club really encashed on this, right? And I used to go weekly once to country club and conduct housey. I used to hate conducting housey. I used to call it lousy, right? And I did not know what to do, but they paid me $500.
Oh,
they paid me $500 a week. This was 1994. Okay, and they used to pay me 500 rupees, and they used to give me free food, 500 rupees a pot. I loved the buffet.
Lovely.
I could eat all I want. Incredible dessert, lots of non-vegetarian. I loved it. I looked forward to it. Not so much the housey, because there were hardly 20 people. And I used to conduct housey. And it went on, and the group general manager, the late Srikant Sharma from Hyderabad, saw me, and he said, for some reason, I'll tell you why he calls me Balbir, but I'll tell you why a little later. My first show, not disaster, because he was there with it. So he told me, Balbir, when I watch you, you're good, you talk really nice, you have a presence, but maza nahi aata re, he said. So I asked him Hyderabadi accent, क्यों sir, क्यों ऐसा क्यों बोले, and all that. देख रहे, जब भी कुछ शो करता ना, मजा ना, तो कैसा करते सर? I asked him. So I said, देख रहे, अब नंबर बुला रहे, what are you saying? 88, two fat ladies, oh whatever 88, क्या मजा है? Every old uncle at the club does it. add some spice. 33, 3, Gayatri, Savitri, 33. एक दो फेंक दो okay कुछ मजा डाल रहे हो मसाला डाल he said okay so I was like whoa I said yeah I looked back and I went back that night and I started thinking and I said here I am doing something people paying you for that and somebody comes and tells he's not happy what am I bringing to the table that an old uncle at any club is not bringing. Yeah. Right? There were times in which some uncle would say, I will conduct, I would be very happy. He'd say, go on. and he'd say, 1, 2, buckle my shoe, and all the 3, 4, shut the door, or whatever. Wine, dine, 69. And everybody used to giggle. You know, I was like why? Why do they need me? Right? What is my contribution into the whole thing? So you sit back and you think, and then I would come back, and then I would do these crazy things. I would say these crazy things, that's when
that
those
opened up the
whole thing. That opened up doors for me, and I thought, I'm not putting my thought into it. I'm not being innovative.
Yeah.
Right? And there's innovation everywhere. You can be different everywhere, even in the mundane. You know.
Surely.
Yeah. So that's how it started, and how's he started getting more people started enjoying. People would be like, come join us at the table for dinner. So it was really nice, right? And you know, patronizing uncles would always say, have a drink with me, and I would have to refuse them. So it was good. And then one fine day, Srikant Sharma said, Balbir, no, he never called me Balbir, he said, Shabbeer, एक बड़ा शो है रे, okay, Miss Country Club host करते, I said, oh sir, host करता हूँ. So okay, that happened. Yeah. So that happened. So big show. That's my first big show that I ever done in my life.
Which year was this?
I don't remember. Somewhere around those 94, 95 range.
Oh
95,
my God,
96.
you've been around for very long.
Yeah, 95, 96. I don't know, 97. I don't know when it was. I've been doing lots of small shows at that time. So this guy, at that time, Bipasha Basu is going to come on stage and perform.
Okay.
A big show. Media is out in force. Right, and they're capturing those moments, and it's going to be pretty big, right? So, and the highlight is last year's Miss Country Club would crown this year's Miss Country Club.
Yeah.
Big stuff, right?
Stuff. All brands, promotions in.
Yeah, at that time there was no entertainment, so Pasha was coming. It was huge.
Yeah.
Bangalore had no celebrities.
Yeah.
Right, so I go on stage, ladies and gentlemen, Bipasha Basu. When Bipasha comes, rocks it, goes, everything. Great, awesome. So finally that moment comes, right? They've selected new Miss Country Club. The last year's Miss Country Club has to come and crown this year's Miss Country Club. Bipasha is on stage, the MD is on stage, the whole media is watching. The group general manager Srikant Sharma is standing below watching. Everybody's watching, like close to 1,000 odd people, watching. My first big show. Very confident, very cocky. I pick up the stage, say, ladies and gentlemen, I now request last year's Miss Country Club, Miss Sonia, to please come up on stage, crown this year's Miss Country Club. Sonia's not coming. Sonia's sitting out there in front of me. And she's sitting below the stage, she's not coming up. Everybody's waiting, everybody's looking at each other. Sonia is not coming on stage. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Sonia.
Again.
Sonia is not coming on stage. I was like, okay. Then I was like, Sonia, can you please come up on stage? Okay. And Sonia says like this, me? I was like, you. So Sonia walks up on stage in front of everybody, grabs the mic from my hands and says, my name is not Sonia, my name is Sonali. She says, I was like, oh. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, we now request Miss Sonali to come. And everybody's like, give me the dirty look. So that was my first big show. That was my first big show. So when I finished the show, Srikant Sharma called me. He says, idhar re, idhar. Okay. How re bhai, tera naam kya hai? Sir, my naam Shabbeer hai. Okay, तेरा नाम बुलाएंगे रे. Okay. विनर इज शबीर बोल के तू आदाब करते हुए आएगा. प्लान कर लिया तू. अब बुला दिए. विनर इज बलबीर करके बल्ले बल्ले करके आता है. So on that day he called me Balbir. But
that's how the name Balbir was formed.
That's how the name Balbir was. But you know what? I have made mistakes all throughout my life with respect to names. I realize names are not my forte. Right? So I have a friend of mine. She's got now acquaintance, a good friend / acquaintance. She's called Shiny, right? So
Okay.
Shiny is a very good author. She's just a fantastic author. She guided me what is writing book as well. And during one of the launches, I go like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shiny Ahuja. Like, she takes the mic and says, Shabbeer, I never molested my maid. Okay, yeah, so I made mistakes throughout,
Okay.
but that's never stopped me, right? That's never stopped me. I've flourished at country
But
club.
I think that's something everyone should note, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, everyone builds a brand out of themselves. Everyone has that success, but you cannot do that without these mistakes. You cannot
can't,
do
yeah.
that without your Sonali moments, right?
Yeah.
In fact, your Sonali moments are the ones which, if you don't pass, there's no going
Correct,
forward.
correct.
You can't, like, at that big stage, it is gonna happen. And if you haven't made it, it's actually dangerous. What if you make that mistake going forward, somewhere on
Right.
even a bigger stage, right?
Correct.
That's nice. That's nice.
So you know what? Psychologically, all these things remain in your mind, in your head. That there is a tendency for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So as an MC, as somebody who is into public speaking, you need to conquer all your fears and not
Yeah.
fear that you will make these mistakes. You will make these mistakes. Big deal, you know. So yeah.
100%. So I want to touch upon that side of yours where you realize that you're making mistakes, all this is good, but that point where you actually took the decision that this is my life, or was there any doubt? Are there other areas I want to explore in life, or is this area of public speaking and connecting with people is my scene? I want to touch upon that. Was there a time when you doubted that?
Of course, I think you have a Robert Frost moment. I mean, two roads
Okay.
diverge. There were many times when people asked me, "What are you going to do?" Because I did not want to get into mainstream radio.
Okay.
I was a VJ at some time, and I was a VJ with SS Music, and I was not sure if that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I loved radio. Radio was my heart and soul, but I did not want to make it my means of livelihood. So people
Okay.
kept on asking me, "How will you make a living?"
Yeah, how will you make a living?
I mean, that's a big question, and
Yeah.
and I went back to Chennai,
Mhm.
and I worked as an engineer for a whole year,
Okay.
right? So I quit everything, and I went back and tried to make a living as an engineer. So I was at some factory.
yeah?
Yeah. So
Okay, so just to pull you back, like, what did you study? What was your?
my mechanical engineering. I was.
Oh, you actually are a
I
mechanical
am a
engineer.
mechanical engineer.
Oh,
so.
we have a lot of engineers on the show. I just realized. Okay, so
No. The fun of engineering is like this. When somebody's not sure, right? You don't know what you want to do with your life. You do engineering.
Yeah.
And then you decide what you want to do. so engineering is like a threshold career for everything.
Everything.
So like there was somebody who was just telling me that my son doesn't know what to do. I told him, tell him, son, do engineering. Okay, so do engineering. Later on, you can decide if you want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You can be a doctor later on. So it's like it's a threshold. I want to take a
No
pause
worries, no worries.
career.
So there was a time when you got into a proper engineering.
I got So
Okay.
basically, what happened was I completed my engineering, and I went back to Chennai. As a mechanical engineer at the time. So a mechanical engineer doesn't have many opportunities. During the early 2000s, right?
It was still the nascent, initial pump, I think.
It still is.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I think apart from the IT information technology world, I think nothing else gives you the lifestyle and the opportunities, because
Okay. Yeah.
growth is pretty slow.
Yeah.
Right? I could have jumped onto IT, but my heart was not
Yeah, okay.
sitting and tapping some keys.
You didn't want to do that.
I didn't want to do
Yeah,
that.
okay.
So I went. I joined my father's. My father used to have a factory, so I used to work
Oh.
for a company, some other company.
I'm sure
And-
many people won't know this.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
don't know this. I worked 1 year as a mech engineer. I was supposed to go to Turkey and learn thermoplastic technology.
So what were the thoughts at that time? When you were there, is something pulling you again this side towards, say, radio, towards public speaking?
Lots.
Or are you fully invested into what you're doing?
I'm not at all invested.
Okay.
I think the only thing that held me back was my fear of a livelihood. Right?
Okay.
So I did not see showbiz giving me the kind of money
Lovely.
that it's giving me. So I did not know what I wanted to do at that time, if I wanted to be a full-time MC at all. 1 year I spent, and I was supposed to go to Turkey, and I was supposed to learn thermoplastic technology.
Okay.
I bought a land out here in Chennai. I was supposed to set up a factory.
Okay.
Contacts were made, money was invested, everything was done.
And I'm sure your family would have been happy with that plan.
They would have been really happy even now. They would be like, I wish he would have gone ahead and done it, because it had a lasting repercussion. It had a domino effect of sorts, or Rube Goldberg effect, if you would. But I tell you what, I spent 1 year and I was miserable. I was really miserable.
Okay.
And I said, and I told Dad, like, this is not happening, right? Because my heart's not into this, right? And I'm not my productive best. I'm not able to give my 100%. Dad said, what do you want to do? I told him I want to go to Bangalore and see what I want to do. He said, go. He said, do you want money? I said, no, I don't want any money. Right? I was very proud at the time. As a matter of fact, I think these are very old world values,
Yeah.
I think there's a time, my generation rather, I don't know, I sound really old now. Okay, so I think we thought being frugal was being noble, right?
Yeah.
I never even asked my dad for a bike. I never even asked him for a bicycle. I used to walk to the school.
Okay.
Okay. The reason why I never want to ride a bicycle is because I wanted to look cool. Okay, and you will not catch me in second PU riding a bicycle. It was because my friends used to come in a car or a bike or whatever.
You didn't want to.
Coming
in a cycle.
Cycle, no, it'll cut down my swag. Okay,
Oh, man.
so I never asked him anything, and when I wanted to get back, okay, I came to Bangalore back penniless. So here I was, an engineer who didn't want to pursue an engineering career.
Man, this is beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't have any money in my pocket. I did not know what I was going to do.
Okay.
So I was talking to a few event managers at that time. Like, I talked to Gautam from Vibes, and I talked to Bobby from Rhythms. And all these guys are like, come back, we'll give you events. So at that time, I used to, it was like almost early 2000s, and there was Air Deccan. And I used to keep coming down now pretty much frequently because...
for events, is it?
For events.
Okay.
So these guys used to call me from Chennai.
Who would pay for the tickets?
The event manager would pay for the tickets.
Okay.
They're pretty much cheap. They were close to 2,000 rupees or 1,000 rupees or whatever.
So you would come down, do the show and go back?
I'd come down, do the show and go back.
Go back for what though? What? Like,
my job. I mean...
you had a proper job?
I had a proper job as an engineer.
Ooh.
So mechanical engineer. So I used to do shows during the weekend and then fly back. Then after some time, after a year, I told Dad, this is not happening. I want to go back to Chennai, so Bangalore.
And that's what I want to do.
And that's what I want to do. And he's like, what will you do? How will you make a living? I was like, I don't know. Let me just go figure it out. So I came here and I did not have a penny in my pocket. I did not have money to give advance to live in a room. So what happened was, at that time, I used to, there was a guy called, my business partner now, my college junior, Ahmed. So he used to stay with his batchmates. So there were 6 of them, and there was a house, and I went and crashed out there, and I stayed with them. Stayed with them for a year or a couple of years while I was figuring out what to do. So it went good. I mean, slowly I started building my market, and at that time there was very little entertainment, right? And people did not know what to do, and team building was at its infancy.
Yeah, literally just
started
like
because
they had understood what is the essence of it, and
correct. So basically what happened was people learned from each other, right? Somebody would see somebody doing something and they would do it.
Yeah.
Right. So went on for some time, and I was going through all these experiences of I came back, I started doing work for Country Club, I started getting shows. Suddenly IT was booming, and there were a lot of day outs, right? And I started doing a lot of team building activities, and that's what I specialize in. I was not MCing so much as I was doing so much team building. I'll come to that a little later. Yeah. So I wanted to focus on team building, right? I was primarily known for my team building games and not for MCing, and there's a good reason why that was so.
Bringing you back to the point, in fact, that spot where you had taken that decision of moving away from engineering and coming back to Bangalore, and things started out for you. I'm sure things went well, but you also mentioned that your family would still be happy if you actually,
Yeah.
I want to kind of touch upon that. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, I'm sure this has given you money, this has given you that
Yes.
name as well,
Yes.
right? But there is a large part of society that still kind of feels, you know what, no, there are other professions that are more respectable or are more stable in that sense. So how do you look at that kind of
So other professions come with a sheen of respectability. They sound a lot more solid. You sound like a respectable member of the society. This is you feel like a laborer. When you're an artist, because that day you earn, that day you eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Some artists have done really good for themselves. So they built a good amount of money. Touch wood, God has been kind. By professionally, you've done good. Right. So I don't have any insecurity left anymore. But you lack that sheen of respectability. Like my dad would ask me, "What do you do, son?" So I would say, "Dad, I talk." And people pay us. Like, yeah, people pay. And he's like, "Okay, talk and show how you talk." So I'm talking to you, Dad. So you're on stage and
So be it. So be it. If you said we earn today and we eat today. I want to extend that sentence by saying sometimes we earn today and we can eat the rest of the month.
The rest of the month as well. Yeah. That depends on how you are placed, right?
Yeah.
So good. I mean, nothing wrong in it. I mean, not that there is a stigma attached to it. Not that somebody looks down on this profession. But it is not a recognized profession. Like, for example, I go and tell people, ask me, what do I do? And I say I conduct games. People ask, what, cricket? Okay, so
but the way I'm seeing it is, he's written 2 books. The second book is getting written. He's hosted so many shows. He's met so many people. He's had mad experiences. He's built a company that builds games. Like, what else is required to gain that solid stability that you said?
No, honestly, there is no regrets
because
with me.
I'm sitting across you and I'm saying, okay, this is a nice path. Right?
Yes.
I'd love to be on it. In fact, I've started on the path.
Right.
You sitting across there, you've gone certain steps ahead of me and you've seen all that. But still, both of us are sitting and saying, yeah, that is a profession that's not fully respected. Like
No. I would let me make a few things very clear. Professionally, my life has been a success.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So I have done whatever I had to do by what it is.
Yeah.
So a healthy bank balance, a house, whatever, everything is done. It's set. When I say a sheen of respectability, what I mean to say is, for example, my friend's a managing director in a company, right? So after 20 years of experience, you become a managing director, right? And you're there, you're head of an IT company, or whatever, right? You're this, you're that. And what do? I shake my ass on stage. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So and it's not a recognizable shaking of the ass. You're not a dancer.
Correct.
You know what I mean? If I say, hey, I'm a famous dancer, I can understand that.
Yeah.
If you say, hey, I'm a famous singer, I can understand.
Yeah.
What are you? I mean, you're just going on stage and talk. That's a lot of gray area.
That is the thing.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of that's a lot of slot. It's a very narrow slot.
Yeah.
So if you look at Bangalore, surprisingly there are 100 MCs, but maybe 30 professional MCs who do nothing but MCing.
100%.
The rest of them moonlight or something or the other, right? So 30 odd people, right, who full-time MCs, they say, hey, if I don't earn, I starve.
Yeah.
That's
the space.
That's the space. That's a very narrow space to be on.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Let's head on to talking about your book.
Yeah,
so
thanks.
What's that about? So Shabbeer is writing his second book.
Yeah.
And we want to hear about that.
Okay, let me start with my first book. It's called The Jinns and Kings. And very close to my heart. I think I poured out everything that I've known over the years into the book, right? All the history that I've read, all the knowledge, all the wit, all the dialogue, etc. And I do hope that they publish it. Okay, so it's there with my agent right now, and that's a really nice book. It's a quest of sorts. Excuse me. It's about jinns, and there is a hero called Akshay. There's a lost city of the jinns, and it's in ruins. And it says once a human comes, and there are 3 pearls called the Sana, and he restores these pearls, the city of Afrazun will rise up again. and there is a lot of mythical characters. There are serpopods, and there are centaur, and there is a manticore, and there are a lot of mythical creatures like Harry Potter, the Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
Okay,
Very fascinated by
nice.
mythology. So
pretty fictional, I would say.
yes, it's fictional,
Okay.
and there are a lot of imaginary creatures.
Mhm.
There are a lot of legendary creatures,
Mhm.
and it's a quest. So I do hope it will do good. You know,
Nice.
I like it.
Full power to it.
Yeah, I like it. So I don't care if it doesn't get published, but I'm quite happy with the way it turned out to be. So,
Mhm.
so I'm just waiting for it to be published, and so once it's published, yeah. So my second book is more about. Tentatively and very misogynistically, all titled as Change Wife, Change Life, but no, I'm not. Change wife, change life, but no, that's not going to be the title. I'm going to change that. so sounds
Why
very
not?
sounds very misogynistic. But this is a problem with just about everybody.
Okay.
Mediocrity. So
Mhm.
mediocrity is much more dangerous than living at the bottom, because when you live at the bottom,
Mhm.
you're always struggling to rise up, right? You got
Yeah.
nothing to lose. You can give it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a problem. It's like having, but when you're mediocre,
Mhm.
you have two legs on two boats,
Yeah.
and you don't know where to go, and you can't row fast.
Yeah.
So here's this guy, and he's working in a factory in Pina. He's
This
not
is about-
happy.
This is what's happening in your book.
That's what's happening in my book, and
Okay.
and he's married.
Mhm.
And he's not happy with his marriage. He's not happy with his
Okay.
life.
Okay.
He can't throw it away, because what does he do next?
You can't throw it away.
You can't throw it away. You
It's
can't
tough.
throw away a job. How do you get
Yeah,
your
how do
money
you
then?
earn? You can't just say no to a relationship because
What do you do next? I
Well,
mean, you're not even sure.
yeah,
You're not
yeah.
even sure. I mean, like, what is?
if I throw this away, what next? Also.
Yeah. So I see a lot of frustrated people. I see a lot of frustrated young men,
Very
rather.
nice.
So who want to do something? Who want to transcend. They sometimes break down and say, "This is what life has to give me."
Mm.
They're just prone to depression. They just give up. They're just mechanical in their work. Nothing inspires them. Some people resort to drinking,
Yeah.
and then unhappy marriages lead to domestic abuse,
Yeah.
right? And so on and so forth, right? So it is not a very glamorous topic to write on.
Mhm.
But since I do a lot of team building,
Mhm.
I've done a TEDx talk as well. So there were some thoughts in my mind that I wanted to come up with,
Come up with.
and to address the seemingly mundane. When you look at my first book, Aksham is on a winged creature, is on a centaur, he's battling it out, so glamorous. Real life doesn't do that, right? Real life throws you to the bakery. It just says, go have a cup of chai, right? And that's where you meet your friend and say, Maga, this is my problem, right? And that's what happens in my book. So he goes and says, Maga, this is my problem. And I don't, is this what life has to offer me?
Okay.
Right? What do I do next?
Mhm.
So basically, when I read some books about self-help books,
Okay.
very popular book which I'll not name, he says go to a monk in the Himalayas and ask him the question. I don't have the liberty to do that. I need to go to work the next day. I can't go to a monk in the Himalayas, so get some lessons from life, right?
Amazing, man.
So I would go to my friend Ganesh at the local bakery, SLV bakery, have one egg puff, have one
Yeah.
chai, and discuss my problems,
Yeah.
right? And that's what this book is all
That's the
about.
perspective.
That's the perspective.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So-
So, you've given us a lot about your life. It's like this is the fastest, like so much time has gone, honestly. But I want to know how does Shabbeer look at his life now? And where's Shabbeer going now?
That's a question that's haunted me for the last 20 years. Where am I going? So
And are we going anywhere anyway? Or are we just exploring? I think that's what it is. Maybe there's no real going.
So this is a very, very good question. I've asked myself this question whenever I felt like it. But my present is so beautiful. Okay, my present is so challenging that I'm living in the present. So I think people in the showbiz, in the event industry, do not have time to think about future simply because I think it's so engrossed in the moment. So my professional life has been great, but my personal life has not been great.
Are you
And,
married?
that's a question that it's complicated kind of thing. Okay, so I'm
Okay.
single. So I'm single.
single,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
single. Now I'm single. So
Never been married.
so it's complicated. So
Okay.
so
No
lot
worries,
of
man.
lot
be
of
it.
tough questions.
So
So a
be
lot
it.
of tough questions. So
Uh-huh.
so when you look back
Okay.
and your professional life is so challenging,
Yeah.
so exciting.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned that I came back to Bangalore
Mhm.
and spent a few years,
Mhm.
and then came my first show that I gave up my whole life for.
Yeah.
I was they wanted me to MC a show in Switzerland.
Oh,
Okay, so
that is awesome.
that is awesome, man. And Switzerland, I mean, like I don't know. I mean, that's my second international show. My first international show, Hong Kong. Second international show,
Oh my God.
Switzerland. And I go there.
Okay.
They put me on a chopper,
What?
and they take me over Lake Luzerne. I'm sitting in the cockpit next to the pilot,
Okay.
and I was like, God, that's it. I've done everything I want to. Take me away. Okay, so you can see
And
God. I mean, it's so
close-
beautiful. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
God. Take me. I mean, like I've done everything. I was like Shah Rukh Khan, like, hey God, take me away, and hello, and that's it. I've done it. So I was so hooked. After that, I was really hooked.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? So in professions like this, the experiences are so beautiful.
They're
The experience-
beautiful.
and it's unique.
Yes.
It's like it's placed for you there
Yes.
to go experience it and come out. Right?
Yes.
And how do you leave something like that?
You can't. And I knew. That's what I told my dad. So you know what? 1 year at the factory, and I kept asking myself, okay, I'm going to earn money, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to earn money. Possibly I have a happy marriage.
Mhm.
Am I going to spend money, home, office, children? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
What else? What does life have for me?
Yeah.
Am I going to travel the world? Am I going to see places? Am I going to explore?
Yeah.
I like the uncertainty.
Yeah. And
I like the challenge.
Let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
So you said I like the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So there's one choice where you say, let me choose the job which pays me a stable income and let me build certain things on that. And then there's this uncertainty that you're saying, okay, I'm getting in unique experiences. Not that I'm not getting money, but it's a little uncertain and there's more suspense to it. I think it's a choice. It's just a choice you need to make.
That's
And all
correct.
it is.
You know, honestly,
Yeah.
it's the confidence. I think you need to be very confident about yourself. Number one. Number
Yeah.
two is I did not like the idea
Mhm.
that somebody would provide for me and I had to wait my turn. Like
You want to go grab it.
I want to go grab it.
Why am I waiting for someone to
Yeah.
give me what I deserve?
Exactly.
I'm working for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
honestly, when you look at the factory system, you buy a very expensive machine, possibly on a loan or whatever, cost you few lakhs, and you're waiting for money to come, and then you're paying your EMI, and that's all you're doing,
Yeah.
right? Possibly you're going and getting more orders. That's it, and
Yeah,
you're happy you cracked this deal.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
It's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it, but is that you?
Is that me? That's not me. So
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. So
Yeah.
millions of people live the life like that, and it's a good life.
Yeah.
It's a good life.
It's a complete life.
It's a
You
great
get to
life,
experience
yeah.
a lot of things.
Yeah. So it's not as black and white or as
Yeah. Yeah.
gray as I put it. But I wanted more action. I wanted to
Yeah.
travel across the world. I want to make things,
Yeah.
right? I wanted to design things. I wanted to address audience. I wanted to come out and I wanted applause. I wanted adulation. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to be seen
Yeah.
because I tasted it early,
Yeah.
right? Once you taste it, you taste
Once
blood.
you taste it, you can't go
Lahu
back.
muh lag gaya, right? so once in the show business is an alligator.
Yeah.
It'll gobble you up,
Yeah.
right? You can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's the Hotel California.
It's like this stand-up show that I had watched by Dave Chappelle, and someone asked Dave Chappelle, I want to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
What's the advice you give? And he always says that it's like a drug, right?
Yeah.
So once you get the drug, you don't want to leave it. You want
Yes.
the high again.
You
and
want the
again,
high.
right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing, man.
And it's like Hotel California. You can check in anytime, but you can never leave.
Ah.
You know?
So
yeah.
there's no real answer of what's next, or
There's-
what would you say?
So I tell you what next. It would be great if I say, hey, I want to make Batuta national and this and that and go
Okay.
international. We've been doing a lot of international events, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
yeah.
So virtual has made it a lot more easy now that we have a lot of virtual
Yeah.
products. It's made us a lot more international,
Visible, yeah.
visible. It's easy to scale up.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah.
Amazing, man. I mean, I'm sure you have the ability to scale up. You've always scaled up. Uh, you've come this far, right? You've spent how many years in the industry now?
Close to 20 odd years now, yeah.
20 odd years. Is there something you wish you could have done some other way?
Yeah.
Maybe another way?
Yeah,
That could have made you feel more complete?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Can you give us like one thing?
I'll tell you. I was not MCing honestly a lot.
Okay.
The way I was given brilliant chances. I hosted the ICC Cricket World Cup on ground next to the World Cup. I mean, there were videos out there, right? It was broadcast all over the world, right? And I was inside a stadium with Salman Khan. I was given big opportunities, right?
Big stars all around you.
Yeah, I've seen them all. But unfortunately, I never put in hard work on it, right? So I used to weigh a lot. I had a big tummy at the time.
Okay.
I never used to dress up properly.
Okay.
I was shabby,
Okay.
right? It is just like 5 years back that I started working on myself, like 5 to 7 years back. Yeah. Like I lost weight very, very recently,
Okay.
right? I started dressing up very, very recently.
Okay.
And I realize now that I enjoy MCing more. Okay, so I love MCing. I always did. I was good at it.
Newfound love again.
Yeah, I'm in love all over again with MCing.
Yeah.
I find myself to be a lot more comfortable on stage. I love award functions. I never knew about it.
So you're saying you wish you worked on yourself more?
You have to work.
Early on. Okay.
It's so stupid. I mean, you know what? That's a different generation, honestly.
Okay.
That always used to think that maybe only your substance will carry you through.
What the talent?
Talent will carry you through. Yeah.
Rest of, if you have that works and that does take you places.
That does take you places.
But maybe what you're saying is with the mixture of a few other things, it'll take you places you never thought it would.
Absolutely. You know, honestly, what I really thought in the initial days was, I understand. Excuse me.
No worries.
I feel like gaseous clay. Hold on.
No problem.
So-
no problem.
Yeah.
Take your time.
So in the earlier days, I started losing my hair.
Okay.
Right, and that's a really tough time for me, and I had a
And
paunch.
especially in a industry like this,
Yeah,
did that become an insecurity for you?
big insecurity. So
yeah?
it was a big
You
insecurity.
wound it up well, man. Like I don't honestly, like
Yeah.
I'm being upfront. Like I don't feel like you're
No, not
insecure
now.
about it.
Not
Yeah.
now. Not now. I've accepted it now. But when I started losing my hair, I started losing my hair from my college days. So when I was in stage,
Okay.
I had half hair. I was sprouting here and there, and started losing hair very early. People thought I was born like this. So sprouting here and there, and I had this 2 suits
Okay.
that fitted me badly, right? And I was having a paunch, and I was not working on myself. Unfortunately for me, I did not have role models. So in that generation, that's a problem. You know why MCs this generation do good is when they can see their peers,
Yeah.
when they can see the
already
seniors,
have a point of reference.
they have a point of reference. They know
Yeah.
MC has to be like this. They have to work hard.
These are the things that work. These are the things that don't work.
Yeah, and people give so much importance to dressing up now, and rightly so. If somebody calls it frivolous, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Dressing
It's
up,
part of the job.
you're in the showbiz. What did you
Yeah,
expect,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
People
yeah.
expect you to be dressed,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I used to have one shoe that I used to wear for 3 years.
Oh my God.
Okay, so the worst part about it is I never thought that was wrong.
Okay.
And there was nobody who told me that was wrong, right? Nobody told me, dude, you could do this, right? A few friends of mine, like I had this Gautam from Vibes, and he used to say, hey, look at the North Indian MCs or Bombay MCs. They're so smart. And I used to dismiss them off saying, Hindi speaking, whatever, they're not polished and all that, right? Which in part is true, but not anymore, not now, but at that time.
At the time. Okay.
But they were so well turned out.
Okay.
And after some time, I was so successful as a team building MC
Okay.
that people would call me to MC in the evening after doing my team building games and not MCing exclusively.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So basically what you do, what I realize is this is a market where there's something called a brand recall. You become a subject matter expert.
Yeah.
You know? So when I have when event manager pitches for an event, he has somebody in the mind. Like how when a director casts sees a story, he has somebody in his mind.
Yeah.
So they have somebody in the mind when they see, okay, this kind of event, I know who would fit in.
Who to call.
So there is no brand recall if you say, hey, I'm just going to do only team building.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And after some time, after doing so many events, I would say no sometimes to MCing alone. That did not excite me. So what excited me was team building.
Team building.
So I excelled in it and I did it. So now.
What percentage of your success do you give towards team building?
I would say close to 90% of my success.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
And not the stage shows with all the celebrities, the stars.
No, not at all. But now it's reverse. But the last 5 years, have seen a big shift.
Okay.
It's a big shift. I find team building a lot more difficult.
Okay.
So
why do you think?
3-hour job in the sun, talk constantly for 3 hours. It's taking a toll. Remember, I've done this for 20 years now. Okay, so it takes a toll. I mean, I developed a lot of issues. I had a growth in my throat. I was scared it was cancer, but luckily it was not. I had to go through an operation. I had a remote because it was some kind of growth. I mean, I don't know what it was. So it strains my throat. Right? So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's really crazy.
You know what? I mean, it's not wrong at all. So most MCs, most radio jocks develop a lot of voice box related issues. I know my friend Prithvi also who kept saying, and a lot of my voice professionals who say, when vocal cords rub against each other, they're like rubber bands. They thicken up.
Yeah.
Right? After some time, you develop a sore throat very quickly.
Yeah,
right? And you develop nodules very quickly. There's something called growths called nodules. Okay. So you develop a lot of these.
And that causes issues.
I mean, it happens with voice professionals. When you use your voice so often and you talk so much. Right?
That's crazy.
So you get these issues.
Never thought of it like this.
Yeah.
Amazing, Shabbeer. There's so much of info you've given us.
Thank you.
I think this was brilliant, man. Like, I don't even want to stop. But I think we've gone way past our mark as well.
Yeah.
Like, just want to know one thing, like, what is one thing you tell, like, people who are like me, still, learning the craft, wanting to, grow bigger in this field. Like, what is one thing you'd give us, man?
Honestly, remember this, you would always feel insecure, right? You'll always feel inadequate. Don't let that bog you down. It's normal, right? Be really confident. Okay, if you're not confident, pretend you're confident. Okay, but don't behave that irritatingly confident, cocky guy. I mean, that comes across as fake. Have this quiet, nice, confidence that reflects off your face. Number one. Number two, there's nothing called one way. Right? There's not one way to succeed.
They cannot be.
They cannot be. I don't know why people.
It's too unique a profession to have one common way. That's why you're here.
That's why you're here. If there are 100 people, if somebody calls themselves an MC, it's because somebody's given them a repeat show.
Yeah.
Okay, and nobody would give you a repeat show if you're bad.
Yeah.
So
100%.
to somebody, you're good.
Yeah.
You are good,
and
that's the reason why you're a professional MC.
Yeah.
Right? Don't look at somebody and say, I want to be that way. Don't do that mistake.
Yeah.
Right?
Learn.
But
if you want to. Make it your own.
Make it your own.
Yeah.
Make it your own. You don't want to end up as a cheap copy of somebody, and nobody wants cheap copies.
Yeah.
The people want originals. Right? Come up with something really original. Work on it. See, this is your chosen profession. This is what you've chosen.
Yeah.
It could be as mundane as saying Gayatri, Savitri, 33. But come up with something original.
But it's yours.
It's yours. So if you're coming up with a game, I mean, where I've won and where I still win, okay, on stage or everywhere, when it comes to a game or on stage, it's because I bring something which is my own.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't copy it.
Yeah.
And it's your personality that's patented onto it.
Exactly. see, there is a game called the limbo dance, right, which I do on stage, right?
Okay.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
But it's not that. It's the way you do it.
The way you do it.
That really matters. So it could be small, but nothing is small. Nothing is small. When you leave your imprint on it, you will leave an imprint on it in people's minds.
And that never goes away.
That never goes away. So people who basically say, hey, I am not I am not making a mark, that's
Mhm.
because they have nothing unique to offer.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. If you have something unique, you're making them up.
You're making a mark. It's as simple as that.
And stick to that.
And stick to that.
Yeah.
And go on and transcend and conquer the world. It's easy to conquer the world. I mean, it's easy. When you're young,
It's easy to conquer the world.
It's
That's
easy
the
to conquer.
quotes by
Yeah.
MC Shabbeer.
yeah, I mean, it's you know what? There's so much mediocrity. There's so much mediocrity. It's alarming.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean,
And like you said, it's easy.
It's
Just
easy.
do it. Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
Step on it, and you'll see that it's
Correct.
doable.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing, Shabbeer. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
for
much.
this.
Thank you, Adarsh. Amazing setup. I love your studios. I love the show. It was a lovely chat. Thank you so much. My pleasure.
I'm glad. So that was MC Shabbeer for you. Amazing conversation. Honestly, I don't want to stop. And I did not know that I'll feel this good, man. Like, I'm feeling very good for some reason after talking to you.
I feel
Right?
good as well, my friend. Thank you.
Because there's a lot of inhibitions that I go through on my own, and the fact that he touched upon it and I could see some familiarity kind of made me feel good. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this as well, and let us know what you feel. See you on the next one. Thank you for being here.